Hello. Gonna wait for some more people to join in, and then we'll chit chat a little bit. Um, I'll open up to Q&A at the end, but I see some more people joining in. Hi, hope you guys are doing well. Oh yes, I love all those emojis: butterfly, rainbow, 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 purple heart, star, 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 and then all the green hearts. I love it. Hello. So let's go ahead and get started. Let me get a sip of I got some mocha iced coffee in my Goddess Bastet cup. And manifesting, downloading the energy of the Goddess Bastet. I've been feeling like Black Cat vibes, and there's been a lot of synchronicities with me and Black Cats. So I wanted to do nails that made me feel like I was incorporating that energy of Bastet, of cats in general, but in particular Black cats, because I feel like they're very misunderstood. And that's just what I feel, that's the animal medicine I'm taking on. So I consider that I'm taking on this energy of bad a woman, you know what I mean? I don't want to use the profanity because I'm probably gonna say this and put it on YouTube, and we know how YouTube is. So yeah, that woman, you know what I mean? Don't mess with me kind of energy is what I got going on. So I hope you guys are well. And as always with my Q&As, you guys feel free to comment, join in the discussion. But I wanted to hop on and talk to you guys a little bit about my social media detox that I just had, social media fast. And then at the end, I'll open it up to Q&A, question and answer. So I'm back now, clearly. But I was on a social media. Hey, Kenneth, I miss you. I was on a social media detox, social media fast, whatever you want to call it, for a little over a week. And I actually did this along with my co-host from the Bridge Between podcast, Raina, my friend Raina, and we were each other's accountability partners. We decided to do this together. And I just wanted to share about, because I did get several questions once I came back about how did it feel, how you're feeling now that, you finished it and things like that. And so it was good. I obviously did not deactivate anything. I just removed the apps from my phone so that I, for one, would not get any notifications, and also so that I would not log in even by mistake. Because what's funny is the first couple of days, and I know she said the same thing was happening under her, out of muscle memory, we just automatically our fingers just started going to where the apps normally are on the phone. I know for me that was happening for me, and it wasn't there, and I'm like, oh, the app's not there, oh yeah, I'm on a detox. But it's just funny how you get these habits, and I was so used to just going right on over to click on Instagram or whatever else, and it wasn't there. So I'm glad I removed the app from my phone, but I did not deactivate, I just removed the app from my phone. So some of the things I realized that during that week when I was not on social media, I was definitely way more present, in the now. I wasn't really worrying about the past too much, maybe because for example, on social media and things like that, you will constantly see people that maybe you were once cool with or haven't seen in a while. It kind of just brings you up nostalgia sometimes. So I wasn't really thinking about the past all that much. I also wasn't worried about the future so much. I was just in the moment. And then also, it's kind of for one, I was way more present. I slept better, actually. I noticed that my dreams at night were way more vivid. I feel like I went through yet another ascension, another awakening when I was off of social media that week. The channel messages were coming through clearer. My intuition heightened, things like that. And it's not to say that like social media is bad. Clearly not. I'm here on social media right now. This is how I connect with you guys. This is how nowadays I'm able to reach people worldwide, which I'm happy to say too. Like I have my first deck that went to India, and also clients all over the world, so that I'm able to connect to virtually. And a lot of you guys find me through social media and YouTube and things like that, so I appreciate all of you guys. But yeah, social media is a good thing, it's a cool tool. But this kind of brings me to my next point of when I was off of social media that week. You know how they say ignorance is bliss? Ignorance is bliss. And apparently I had a friend of mine was like, you picked a good week to be off of social media because there was so much going on that particular week, like, you know, with worldwide politics and things like that, and disturbing images being circulated. I don't want to get into any of that stuff though, but yeah, so maybe my intuition was just knew that was the week to do it. Yeah, and please feel free to comment and share your own feedback about if you've ever had a social media break or detox, or like if you feel like you want to do one, etc. I plan on incorporating them more in the future for sure. But like I was saying, I did really realize ignorance is bliss, because what I realized is, and I was actually talking to a friend of mine about this, that when I was off of social media that week, I'm a happy person, but I was happier. You know what I mean? I didn't have the distraction of this person's beliefs or opinions, or that person's belief or opinions, or the war that's going on spiritually, or the war that's going on with people's views on the jab, or you know what I mean, like the jab. If you depending upon whoever sees this, because I'm gonna put this on YouTube whenever you see this, given the time of this recording, you can probably figure out what I'm referring to when I say the jab. You know what I mean? The jab in the arm. So there was none of that going on in my face. You know, I didn't have to read meme after meme after meme of this person's views or that person's views or this person's beliefs, or, you know, or whatever it might be. So I realized that social media can be way overstimulating. And I was a happier person. I'm a happy person, but I was happier during that particular week when I was not on social media, because I didn't have to see all of the chaos. It quieted the noise for sure. I noticed that I was able to start back writing poetry. Yes, I noticed, like, I don't know if you heard me in the beginning, but I felt more clear. So maybe you too, maybe you can relate in the sense that creativity was flowing. The creativity was flowing even more without the distraction and the noise of social media. So yeah, in that regard, ignorance was bliss, because none of what was going on was affecting my reality in that present moment, if that makes sense. So I had, you know, stuff was going on in the world, yes, but it was not personally affecting me. And it was not personally affecting me because I wasn't seeing it. I wasn't giving it attention. So, you know, it quieted the noise. And so I was a happier person. I love that cup. Thank you. My Bastet chalice. It's got iced coffee in it right now. But yeah, I was happier. And my friend who I was talking to, she was saying how, like, she feels like more people honestly would be happier people. The world would be a happier place if everyone was not so much on social media. I'm not to say eliminate social media. Obviously, it's a good thing for what it can do, but it's just, it distorts reality too much. People actually really nowadays, for one, everybody has an opinion on social media, and people that are not experts in anything think they're experts on a lot of things without doing full-on research, and people will see a meme and then run with it. You know what I mean? And just spread it like wildfire without actually knowing any real evidence to support that meme, for example. You know what I mean? So things like that is what I mean when I say it quieted the noise, and ignorance was bliss, because none of that chaotic energy that everybody was feeding off of on social media, it was not affecting me. It was not affecting my reality because I did not see it. I was cool. My reality, my present moment, I was great. So this is why I feel like it's definitely good to rejuvenate and take more breaks with social media as well. So that's a little bit of my experience with it. Last Wednesday, I woke up at 6 a.m. and sun gazed and was just feeling super grateful and letting my thoughts flow. I started thinking about Kendrick Lamar and how great to pimp a butterfly was. And then on Friday, he finally posted, which he never does, about his upcoming album. That's cool. Like I'm glad that you are relating to that. Hey guys. So I'm curious to see if any of you. Oh, sorry, my intuition is really strong right now. It's crazy. Yeah, I mean, I would consider that a synchronicity for sure. I would definitely consider that a synchronicity. But yeah, I definitely feel like that time off of social media, I was way more intuitive. Oh, I forgot to mention, I made more money because I had more time to focus on just doing readings. Like you guys, people see people that do like YouTube and like lives and picket cards and things like that, and although it is fun, although it is a passion, it is very time consuming, especially like editing of YouTube videos. It takes up time. So during that time that I was not on social media that week, I had more time to just focus on just doing readings for clients, and I did realize like I met my certain financial goals quicker during that time, so I was way more productive. I mean, that's not to say that these videos and stuff is not productive. It is productive because it all serves a purpose. It's still work for me, but it's fun work, you know what I mean? But it still takes energy. It could still be draining. So I just say like I also noticed during that time I was able to reach more financial goals, you know? Yes, you caught me live. Time well spent. Yes, it was. And I also realized that during the time when I was off social media that week, I sat with my own thoughts more. Like I had more time to reflect on my life in the sense of doing a little bit more shadow work. I was doing a little bit more shadow work. I felt extremely happy, but there were these moments that, you know, shadow work would come up, so I had more time to dedicate to that because I didn't have any distractions of like being on social media and things like that. So I definitely recommend it, you guys. And if you guys have, feel free to share if you've ever done a social media detox. How long was it? How did it impact you? What did you notice? What did you learn? Comment it below. And then later, if you see this on YouTube, still comment it below in the comments, things like that. But I think that's all I really had to share about my experience with it. I do plan to do it again at some point. Part of me is kind of considering doing it as a once a month thing, honestly, but we'll see. My moody self, who knows? Cancer. I'm Cancer, so we're moody. But I do want to open this up to Q&A, question and answer. So if you guys have any questions that you want to know or curious about the social media detox I did, or just about anything magical, psychic, tarot or oracle card related, or just spiritual related, or just about me, if you're curious, feel free to comment and we'll talk about that. I'm going to do this. We all need it. Yes, please do it. I learned so much. Oh, one of the other funny things I did notice that I just thought of was I was so used to doing stories that I think I was preparing a meal or something else happened. And I grabbed my phone and I get ready to like record it to post on a story, and then I'm like, oh wait, I'm not on social media. And then, sorry, do I have something on my mouth? Oh no, I don't. So then I had to sit and think, post this on a story, why? You know what I mean? Like, is this really that important or impactful to put on a story? And so certain things I did go ahead and take a photo of or record that I knew I was going to post later. Like, for example, my anniversary dinner date with my boyfriend. But other stuff I realized, like, I don't need to put this on a story. So I just noticed out of habit. And it made me question, like, why am I recording this to put on a story? Can you give an example of shadow work coming up? So shadow work in a nutshell, um, is basically tapping into, looking into all of the things about yourself that you're not necessarily proud of, you could say. Like, this could be your insecurities, this could be fears, these could be doubts, these could be unhealed traumas, these could be anger, resentment, this could be denial about certain things, this could be karmic lessons or patterns that you need to see. um, so an example of shadow work, I would say, is something I do is I will either start writing out, and I always incorporate it with the burning bowl ritual if I write it out. So I will start, like, let's say something triggers me and I'm trying to get to the root of, like, why am I feeling hurt by this when I know it's not personal, or why is this still upsetting me when I thought I was over this situation, you know? And so then I have to sit and think, okay, where is this coming from? Something, an old version of myself is being triggered right now. So I would either write it out, just start talking to myself through writing through the situation, and then eventually you kind of come to some sort of conclusion of a pattern or something else deeper that needs to be worked through. And if I'm writing it out, I would just burn it and release it after to be done with it. Or sometimes I'll record myself and talk, like, so I can see myself, observe myself, even how it's the emotions are moving through my body, record myself on video, talk it out like I'm talking to somebody, and then delete it after to release it. So that's an example of shadow work that I will do sometimes and have done recently. During that time, you can incorporate meditation as well to go in to see, like, subconsciously what's kind of going on within yourself as well. Sometimes you'll be showed it in a dream too. Like, sometimes you might be showed something in a dream that still needs to be healed. Like, maybe it's a person in your dream that, like, is from your past, and you're like, what, I'm so over this. Like, and when you're up, you're like, I'm over this, why is this person in my dream? But clearly something is showing you're not maybe over it. There's something that needs to be revisited for some reason, you know? So things like that. Hopefully that made sense. There's also I like the video. I think her name is Mystic Rain. I think her YouTube is Mystic Rain or something like that. But she has a good YouTube up about shadow work too. Is it like triggers that you must sit with and purge? Yeah, so shadow work is basically, it can be perfect sense. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, so shadow work, yeah, it can be something that triggers you, and then you gotta purge it out, like an old wound. It could be just basically anything ego related that is not in a positive sense, because sometimes ego can be a good thing because it can protect you. Sometimes ego can be a good thing so that you're not in denial about something. Sometimes ego can be a good thing so that you see a deep truth. But shadow work, in the sense of, like, being triggered in the ego, is something that is still unhealed, you know, things like that. I love her channel. Yeah, her stuff is good, right? Is it how do you know how to spell it? So I can tell them. I think is it Mystic Rain? Like, I think Rain has 2 N's. I forget. Let me know. But yeah, shadow work is really, really important because I was talking to some friends, and too often we want to be positive, right? Good vibes only, as people say. Obviously, for the most part, I'm a positive person most days, but the thing is, what makes you powerful is really incorporating both. Like, you have to have the shadow and the light. You can't be all light, because if you are just all light all of the time, guess what? You are oblivious to deeper truths. You're not seeing deeper truths that are happening right in front of you. So you have to have a balance. You just can't let the scales tip one way or the other too much, because then there's a loss of power there. You know what I mean? I really love Aaliyah. Like, if anybody knows me, like, I've loved Aaliyah since I was young. In high school, my nickname was Aaliyah. I used to do the swoop over my eye. Well, freshman year of high school. Then she kind of passed, and then I was just kind of, like, traumatized by that. She transitioned, rather. But I love Aaliyah because her energy, she's so light, and she's a real person, but you can also sense that she incorporates her shadow side as well, and it gives her a good balance of her magic, of her power, and you can sense that, you know. So hopefully that is making sense. But yeah, you have to have a balance. You are too. I love watching your channel. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I still learn, like, I think it's important to still learn from other people. Like, I love helping to teach people through my experience, but I learned so much from other people, and I learned so much from the people I've taught. Like, I love when students start teaching me stuff. Like, I appreciate that so much. That's what helps us keep growing and elevating and becoming better and ascending. Like, I don't really feel, it's debatable. I always say I don't really know if anybody's really a true expert in anything, because there's always more to learn. And I don't really care for anybody to come across as guru, because we are all learning. We're all students of life in the earth school, you know. Can you please guide people through shadow healing? Oh, okay, so I think you missed it a little bit. I did kind of talk about it earlier, but, and there's no one way to do it. This is just kind of, there's many different ways to do it. Many people are going to have different views. I'm gonna save this though and put it on my YouTube so that you can watch it from the beginning if you like. Oh, sorry, one second. Mystic Rain. Mystic, MYSTIC, Rain, RAINN. That's the channel I was talking about earlier, you guys. She has a good YouTube video on shadow work. So I recommend that. Thank you, Kenneth. I am late to the party, sorry. Oh no, it's all good. It's all good. I'm gonna save this and put it on YouTube as well so you can check it out. But check out Mystic Rain's YouTube channel. And she also has a really, really good video on shadow work. But shadow work is going to look different for different people, especially like the healing of it. And earlier I mentioned talking things out, writing it out, you know, channeled writing. When I feel triggered by something that is bringing up like an old pain, old wound, old anger, something like that. And then burning it in a burning bowl ritual to release. Sometimes I will record myself on video, talk it out like I'm talking to somebody else, but it's me talking to me and my higher self. Then releasing it, deleting it and releasing it. There's so many ways that you could do shadow work. Like I mentioned meditation earlier. You can ask for help to see what needs to be healed before you go to sleep at night, so it's shown to you in a dream, or if you don't remember your dream, so that you wake up with the clarity about what to do if you don't remember your dream, things like that. But in order to do shadow work, you're gonna have to face things about yourself that you don't want to face. Like hold on, I got something in my eye. Okay, you're gonna have to face the things about yourself that you don't want to face, you know. Maybe the things that you don't even see in yourself, but if people keep pointing it out in you, like, hey, this is just an example. Hey, sometimes you can be selfish, and you're like, I'm not selfish. And then somebody else is like, oh, you're acting selfish. And you're like, what is people talking about? I'm not selfish. Maybe you need to do some shadow work, because you might have some selfish tendencies you're not realizing. Or like if somebody's like, you know, why don't you just say what you need to say instead of being passive aggressive about it? And you're like, what do you mean? I'm not passive aggressive. Maybe you just need to look a little bit deeper, you know what I mean? And I know I in the past have been guilty of like many things that I didn't realize I was doing, but people kept saying it, so it's like, all right, well, let me look at it. I'll be honest, I'll be fully transparent. Like, I will sometimes get feedback from clients like, oh, sometimes, you know, when you're delivering a message, it comes across as cold. And it's usually when I'm giving like a very, like a reading on something difficult, something, a serious matter, you know? So sometimes when I'm channeling, I think I've shared this with you guys before, sometimes when I'm channeling messages, it's not going to come across as the most fuzzy, because in order for me to get how serious the point is across that you need to see, I might have to be a little bit more, what's the word, stern? Is that the right word? And so it's not gonna be all buddy buddy all of the time, because if I make it too light for some people, then they're gonna take the one good thing I said about Bobby and run with that one good thing and miss all of this um, other messages about how toxic the situation is, and they're just gonna be like, but you said he has feelings for me. Yeah, but what about everything else I said, so but I had to take that feedback, because I could be like, I'm not cold, because I know my heart. I know that I'm coming from a place of love. When I get harsh sometimes, you know how people, it's like the mom that's like being harsh and gonna spank you because you're about to get yourself hurt and in trouble, and then it's like, oh, but it hurt though. But I had to be harsh in that moment out of love. Hopefully that's making sense. So, but I have taken that feedback, over time, and I've been working on trying to figure out, okay, well, how can I deliver it where I'm still being honest and getting the seriousness across, but still understanding that this person is feeling triggered right now. This person is going through some sort of trauma. How can I make it? How can I warm it up just a little bit? You know what I mean? So that was some shadow work that I had to do, because maybe I wasn't fully seeing it. Maybe it was feeling a little bit cool, but I gotta. So you know what I mean? Hopefully that makes sense. Let me think if there's anything else. Yeah, I think that's all I got right now, unless anybody else has any other questions or just something they want to share about shadow work or social media detoxes, whatever it might be. Perfect example. Thank you. Yeah, I try. I mean, like, it all comes from a good heart, you know what I mean? It's just, like I always say, my reading style is not for everyone. I'm pretty blunt. And then what I also notice is like, sometimes when people are in a hurt space, what I say and what people hear are just very different things, you know what I mean? And I'm just like, that's not what I said, but that's how this person took it. So, it's an interesting thing, this field of work. But you definitely learn not to take everything so personal in this field of work if you are also a reader, because people are hurting and they're only seeing from their own lens. And a lot of the time, one of the biggest things I hear is that my readings make sense later. Like, they could think I'm so wrong in the moment, but after you give it some time, they're like, they go back and listen, like, oh, I see what that was now. That makes sense now. You know what I mean? Because sometimes people are looking at a reading in terms of like what happened in the past and what's happening in the present. But especially if you're asking about where things are going or the future, it has not happened yet. You don't know if I'm right yet. You gotta let it play out before you jump to conclusions, Anyway. Yes, you are blunt, but in a good way. I know I've had readings from you, LOL. Thank you. Yes. I feel like I've gotten better at my approach for some people. Like, some people just aren't ready for the bluntness. And you know what? I tell people all the time, I may not be the reader for you if you want everything to be super duper sensitive all of the time. And I am sensitive, but sometimes you just can't wrap everything up in roses. Sometimes you got to hear the hard truth. And honestly, I just want to say this. I feel that many people, you guys know I recommend therapy. I feel that some people really, really need therapy before going to get a psychic reading. Like, because if you are someone who is always anxious, always worried, or always like, whatever it might be, whatever your emotional attachment style might be, if you are unhealed and then you go to get a psychic reading, especially from somebody who's going to be very truthful and blunt, regardless, even if you do get somebody who's like super positive all the time and tells you what you want to hear, the issue is you're not going to be able to really like digest the information one way or the other, because most of the time, if you are struggling with self-awareness, or if you are struggling with some sort of critical thinking skills, or even just in an emotional difficult space, such as anxiety or depression, etc., it's probably not the best thing to get a psychic reading right away. I would recommend actually going to get therapy first, and then maybe later coming back to psychic readings and things like that, so that you can take on the information from a clearer view, from a healthier emotional space, so that you can have your own critical thinking skills. Because some people will say, oh, it's your job as the reader to make them understand, or make them understand what the message is. But I disagree. I disagree with that. I feel that I am channeled a message. However I channel it, however I deliver it, I give the message, but I may not see all the specifics. And if I say something, for example, like, this is not likely to go in the direction you're hoping, and you're like, what do you mean? What does that mean? It means it's not likely to go in the direction that you're hoping. So let's take some time to think about, what are you hoping this to go? Where do you want this to go? Right now, it's not likely to go in that direction, but that requires critical thinking skills. So you have to have some sort of a critical thinking skills as to really, really receive readings. In my opinion, I know some people might disagree, but I don't feel like I should have to break every single thing down for you to get it. Some of it requires your own thought and self-awareness and knowing what's actually happening with you in your life to understand the messages. You know what I mean? Hopefully that's making sense. I'd rather have the blunt readings than sugarcoating. That's why you've been my go-to reader the last 5 years. Yes! Thank you. That makes me happy. I'm glad I could help. Absolutely, somebody said. Yes. So yeah, some people, like, I tell some people, I'm like, you don't need a reading, you need therapy. Then come back and see me. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with it. Because the other thing is too, if you get a client that you have to break every little thing down for, then that client becomes reliant on you and your readings to make every single life choice. And that is scary to me. I don't want that responsibility. You know, like, I want to be a tool to help you navigate your choices and your decisions, but I don't want to be the I don't want to, for one, it kind of breeds people that get addicted to psychic readings, and I do not enable that behavior, you know, because it can be a real addiction. And so I feel like I want to be a tool to help you navigate your choices for you in your life, but I don't want to make the choices for you. I don't want to have to break down every single thing. Like, I don't want, every single little thing shouldn't have to be explained, because certain things are you just having to have your own self-awareness and knowledge, and, like I said, critical thinking skills. So, like, I'll just give another example. Like, sometimes when I get energy of, like, I feel travel or a move coming through, like, let's say that I feel travel or a move coming through as possible. It looks like that energy, and they're like, well, is this what who's gonna, like, what do you mean? Am I going to move my home? Where am I moving? Things like that. I may not see all the specifics, but when I say travel or move, and I say, like, oh, this could be physical or symbolic, like, you could actually be relocating your home or career, or it could be just symbolic of the direction you're moving in life. And then somebody is like, well, what do you mean? I don't understand. Which one is it? Okay, you gotta sit and think. Use your own critical thinking skills. Use your self-awareness. What's happening with you in your life right now? How have you been feeling? What's going on? What have you been planning? You know, things like that. Sitting with yourself and answering that. Then you're likely to figure out, okay, this is probably what she means. But the best thing to do is to just let it play out. Then later you look back and you're like, oh, that's what that was. Because sometimes I'm picking up energy that you just don't see or see yet. You know? So it's going to take your own ability to think for yourself. Hi, Melissa. I was talking about some of our conversations earlier. Melissa's the one who I was talking about earlier, in a good way, of course, about, like, how ignorance is bliss when you're off of social media. I know you've had some social media detoxes as well. Real quick, since you're here, if you have time, Feel free to type out some of the things that you have noticed or experienced when you were on a social media detox for yourself. Um, but yeah, and I know you missed the beginnings of this, but I'm gonna save it and put it on YouTube later. Let us know. And anybody else here if you want to share. So yeah, those are some of the things I noticed and realized. Let's see, what else did if there's anything else I wanted to share. But yeah. Yes, agree. But yeah, sometimes therapy is needed rather than a reading at times, or both. Both is good too. But I just feel that readings are meant to just help be a navigation tool for you, not to be the end all be all, and not to make the choices for you. Okay, she said, I felt better mentally and was more productive. Yes, definitely felt that too when I was on my break of social media. Got more things done without spending hours on social media. Isn't that crazy? Like, I realized how many hours in the day were spent on social media that I hadn't really realized before. Oh, even like something as simple as watching a movie. Usually I will still be like sometimes picking up the phone and like looking through stuff on social media, but when I was on my break, I actually was able to pay more attention to the movie. I also read more books. I didn't get to read books this time just because I was focusing on readings, but next time I'll probably add in more books there. I also tried to spend more time outdoors on the weekends, in particular, because during the week I was inside working, but was able to be way more present and way more grounded in the real reality, not the fake reality of the Matrix. You know what I mean? I got my workouts done faster too because I couldn't scroll through IG in between sets. That's funny. I feel it though. I understand. Yeah, I did. Putting things together now. I got my day started faster too, because normally I would spend time in the mornings, on the phone, like on social media, checking DMs, checking comments, checking, YouTube views, whatever it is. And it was nice to not even really think about any of that. And also, even though I was recording videos during that time, I wasn't posting them. So it was also nice to have that break as well. Because as an energy sensitive, as soon as I post a video, I can automatically feel people tapping into my energy, or just participating in my energy, because they see me on video, they see me on film, they see me on a photo, and they're interacting. So if they're interacting with that video, they're interacting with my energy, and I still feel it. Even though I was still feeling some of that, it was mostly videos I previously posted and already cleared out. So I had a little bit of a energy break from that too, because I often have to clear my energy with that as well. But yeah, I think that's all I've got for now. I'm gonna be recording a forecast probably sometime this week to get up. And then right now I'm just gonna go ahead and get to some orders and take care of all of that, some of the readings for the day. If you missed it, I'm going to save this, put it up on YouTube later on if you want to check that out. If you are seeing this on YouTube, remember to subscribe, like, comment, and share. And thank you again to everybody who has subscribed to my YouTube channel or follows me on Instagram or has bought a oracle deck that I created or booked a reading. Thank you so much for keeping my dream going. And I want to make some tarot decks one of these days. That's gonna be further off in time though. For now, I'm just gonna focus on the oracle decks, and I already have lots of those in mind. I have so many ideas, like I don't even know where to start. But I did a poll and you guys voted for self-care, so I might do that one next, an oracle deck on self-care. But we'll see. You guys know me. I'm a Cancer. I'm moody. Mood changes. We'll see how it goes. Just Keeping it honest. All right, guys. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.